Hello everyone, welcome back. In the last section, we have seen how to build a sentence paraphraser as an API. Now we are going to see how you can build a text paraphraser, that is using multiple sentences and paraphrasing them. So given any block of text, split it into sentences and paraphrase each sentence and merge the combined output and return that. So essentially we need to use spacey to split the sentences, then do parallel calls to paraphrase each sentence and then combine them back. We cannot use the zip file lambda approach because spacey installation size and other things exceed the limit of lambda. So what we are essentially going to do is to use lambda container deployments. So internally AWS Lambda creates a container and deploys them as necessary and does auto scaling on that. In order to circumvent the size limitations that we have with the zip file approach, we are going to use the container deployment approach. AWS Lambda has a max size limit of 10 GB, I guess. So most models we should be able to deploy and containerize and run them because of the heavy size limitation that we have. The only thing is that there will be some cold start. That is, the first time you call the API, it will take a couple of seconds for it to come up. But we'll also see how we can give provision concurrency so that we can avoid cold start for at least a fixed number of concurrent instances. Let's again use AWS SAM, but now we'll choose a template to start with the container deployment. So SAM init and choose AWS quick start templates, and here is the important part. Previously we were choosing zip and we deployed the sentence paraphraser API because that is very lightweight, but here now we need to choose image because we have spacey and other libraries that will take up some space that might not be under the limits of zip upload. So we are going to choose image, that is type 2, and again in here choose let's choose 4, that is Amazon Python 3.8 base, and project name is, let's say, learn NLP text paraphraser, because previously we built a paraphraser for individual sentences. Now we are going to build paraphraser for the full text, that is splitting up the whole text into individual sentences, paraphrasing them and combining them back. Now here again you need to use AWS quick start templates. So let's start with the base one itself, that is hello world lambda image example. Awesome, we got our folder created. So let's move into that learn NLP text paraphraser. Now we are in this folder. Let's open the base code and see. So this is the newly created folder, and again, just like previously, we have template.yaml. We need to change some of the things here. But again, inside hello world, you have app.py with the template handler, and you have requirements.txt. And since it is a container deployment, you have an extra file, that is Docker file. So this is the file that we need to change if you want to add more custom things. But essentially you can go ahead and add things in the requirements.txt as well as change the code in app.py and do this. So first what I'm going to do is in app.py I'm going to add the previous code that we have. So instead of this code, I'm just adding the sentence paraphraser code that we previously have in our zip file deployment. So let's remove this and just let's add our zip file code. So this is basically the sentence paraphraser that we have seen. Now let's go ahead and modify this such that instead of doing sentence paraphrasing, we are going to do text paraphrasing, that is block of text, using spacey and splitting up and using other libraries as necessary. So I'm just taking code from our collab notebook that we have seen previously. So we are using concurrent futures and spacey. Now let's add our NLP object. Let's change this path. So essentially we are going to modify this path in the end according to what the right path is, but let's just keep this as a placeholder here. We also created our get sentences function, where if you pass in any text using this NLP, using sentences and just using spacey NLP object, we are going to get individual sentences and just return back the sentences as a list. We have already seen this, so I'm just adding that here. Now coming to our code here, previously we have just paraphrased text, that is just individual sentence. So let's modify this and just pass in the original text. Now this original text is not individual sentence but rather a block of text. So we are going to pass the block of text to this get sentences function, and we are going to get back the list of individual sentences that are split. Now the beauty is that we can use our concurrent futures thread bowl executor, and you can parse through each sentence in these sentences and pass that to the get paraphrase function. So this get paraphrase just takes one sentence. So we are splitting up into sentences here and iterating through the sentences and passing each sentence here. Now parallelly this is executed and all the sentences and their paraphrased versions are obtained. Now we just need to collect that. So paraphrase sentences will be just the result from this futures object. So in each futures object, the result that we are collecting, because we return back the paraphrase sentence here, as you can see. So we are just collecting the sentences. So we got the full text. We divided it into individual sentences using spacey. We paraphrased each sentence. Now we collected back all the paraphrased sentence list. All you need to do now is to just append all the text back into one single string. Now the full paraphrase text is actually just paraphrase sentences joined with a space. But if you really want to preserve line breaks and paragraph changes, you can, preserve those as well and append them back smartly instead of just stripping out all the things. So instead of printing this, let's now change this such that we are printing original text and the full paraphrase text. Now all we need to do is, previously we were returning a sentence that is paraphrased. Now just return the full paraphrase text. That's about it. So we have changed the code such that we will take in block of text and split it into individual sentences, paraphrase each individual sentence parallelly. Now join back the paraphrase result and return the paraphrased full text. That's what we have done here. Let's see what we need to change in requirements.txt and the Docker file to make this work next.